Hiya, we're back out in the park again in this cool little five-a-side pitch that we found that's really useful. The only downside is you can't anchor down your landing pad. We're hoping that these two batteries will hold it. One's a dodgy old Mavic Pro battery, it's not working anymore. One's the spare one for the Fimi. Hopefully that'll be good. Yeah, we've got the Fimi out again today. And we're going to give it a go on some motion tracking. And we're going to see if we can just do a bit of a better test now that we can have it a bit lower in this area. Because some of the comments were that we were doing it too high, so we're going to give it another go. But yeah, let's see how it works out. Okay, so we've got the Fimi. Quick look at it. There we go. Looks pretty good. Pretty quality device. I would say it's much closer to the DJI standard than the Xeno drones. So if you're thinking of getting a drone at a budget sort of amount, I would definitely consider the Fimi. One thing that it doesn't come with is a nice gimbal protector, but we've got one off Amazon here. I think paid about £6. That holds a gimbal, and I'm not sure it holds it in perfectly. Maybe you could stick some foam or something in the bottom of it. But yeah, a weird drone that only comes with a sort of foam gimbal protector, which is a shame because apart from that, this drone's pretty premium. Let's just check our settings on the app. Let's get ourselves back into high quality video mode. Always need to do this when you start. Right, yeah, it never lets you actually come out of that. Okay, I think everything else, I might change the settings actually to have a cloudy day, because it's a bit of a foggy day today, so I don't really want to set auto white balance. I'm going to go with cloudy because I think that will do better in this conditions. Right, so we start the recording. We're going to do takeoff. Okay, so already I think we're seeing a much more sort of stable drone than the Xenos that we've been testing. Maybe the wind's a little bit better today, but it definitely holds its position very well. It's got optical flow sensors, it's got landing camera. It holds its position much better than a Xeno, well, any of the Xeno drones, I think. So yeah, that's something to consider. Only really DJI holds it really well. This holds it nearly as well. It's just, I mean, the Hudsons move around like crazy. This drone much better, so you know, should be much better for holding position. Of course, you still want to be careful. Go forward a little bit so Rach can have a look. Ooh, maybe go down, spin round. It's still much more controllable than a DJI, not than a DJI, than a Hudson Xeno. Right, so I've got me on camera. I'm going to go up a little bit higher. Let's see what we can do. So now I want to go into the flight modes with the little monkey icon. Right, so we're going to do a trace. Okay. Drag a box around myself. It's got me. Click go. Flight height's too low. Maybe go up a little bit. Flight height's too low, so that's we're going to try and go as low as we can. Right, I think it's got me now. Okay, right, now how's it going to do? Now this, I don't know if this is much higher or lower than we were before, but basically let's just give it a chance and see if it can sort of best the Mavic Pro that we had in a previous video, which seemed to track us very well, and a bit lower than this, I think. It is tracking us, it is moving around. It is basically doing a reasonable job, I would say. But yeah, thanks in the comments for some advice on basically, I mean, the advice was that maybe wear a yellow jacket, because that may help it to track you, because it's like the landing pad colour. I'm not going to do that. I don't have a yellow jacket. Oh, I might have in the car actually, but anyway, I kind of think it might be a bit crazy to have to wear a jacket. But it's definitely doing a good job of tracking me. So, you know, I can stand, look at the camera, can move around. That's pretty cool. Okay, I think we're happy with that. So let's stop that trace, yeah. Right, now I'm gonna try the feature again. I think this was with lock. Somebody said it will kind of rotate around you as you move. So basically, right, let's do that. So now this should sort of circle around me as I move. So I've got it in lock mode. Oh, it's set to 0. So I think you can get it to slowly rotate around you. I've got to be careful because there's kind of trees around here and also railings. But it is good at holding its altitude and its position. So, I mean, I'm less concerned with these sort of modes on the Fimi than I am with the Hubsan, because the Hubsan was, you know, it just was flying erratically all over the place. We did all sorts of calibrations on it, horizontal, compass calibrations. This one is doing its job and it's doing it well, I'd say. So I might have to take back that the features are not good compared to the Mavic Pro or the Air. I think this is doing very well. I'd say it's very good, really. Yeah, it's holding position. The only fear is that it doesn't have, you know, sensors that can basically stop it from going into the tree behind it. Luckily we're not close enough for that. So I would say that is fantastic. That is really good. It is working perfectly and it's holding its height nicely. It's not as windy today, to be fair to the Xenos, but to be honest, I'm not confident that even if there was no wind at all, I just think they would fail. It's that, tap the wrong bit. Okay, I want to come out of that, but that's really good. It's done a really good job of that. I'm really happy with it. Right, so let's just try the profile mode now. Let's just try that. Right, here we go. Right, so I think I need to go and stand in front of it again because, you know, I've stopped it where it was. Okay, draw a picture around me. It's got me. I just think the app on this is so much more, you know, it's just so much more premium, you know, in compared to the Hubsan one. Right, it's moving around, it's keeping a lock on it. I'm wondering if I go to the other side of the area that I'm in, can it pick me up? Can it get me through the fence? Do you know, it has, and it's moved across through there, and it is basically, yeah, it's picked me up, no problem. There's a basketball, I don't know, hoop, I think that's what you call it, nearby, so I'm not going to go. I mean, the only downside with the Fimi, I would say, is the lack of obstacle avoidance. If the next version of the Fimi could come out with obstacle avoidance, could, you know, maybe even omnidirectional, that might take on the Air a bit, because the Air's only got front and back and down. I really think that these smart tracking features feel good. They feel like they're working properly. I'm not sure I did a proper test of them last time. Maybe I just didn't get it right. So yeah, it's basically doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. And I think it's tracking me through fences. It got a bit confused there, but it's picked itself up again. I really like that. Can you move it when it's doing it? Can you like pull it forward towards you and it still track you? I mean, that'd be interesting. So, oh, it's trying to catch back up with me. Don't know now. Maybe the box needed to be a bit bigger. I don't know. It's still picking me up. It's still picking me up. That's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, that's amazing. So you can move it around in flight, and you can basically, you can set it to basically still keep hold of you, even if you move it forward a bit. Because basically it stays in its position on this mode. It'll stay where, it'll just move across, kind of parallel to you, which it's doing to me now. And it's working really well. And I think it's very impressive. You know, it's really impressive actually. So yeah, that's a real plus for this drone, which does not cost that much. I mean, the Hubsan drones were tracking fine. They also tracked. I don't know if their features were as advanced as this, but it's the UI. The UI on the Fimi app, it just feels a little bit more professional. It feels closer to the Mavic Pro app. You can tell that they've kind of tried to base it on the DJI Go app, and I think definitely, yeah, that's really good. That's really good. So I don't think we can moan about those features actually. They really are working properly. You know, it's a bit of a foggy day as well. It's not best conditions today, I'd say, and it's really doing a good job of flying around. Now what we'll do is we'll try out another, you know, we'll do the old droney. That's always a favourite. So let's do a droney. Right, I might have to take it back up again a bit. Let's go in, let's get a droney going. That was the thing that disappointed me actually on the Xeno 1. It didn't seem to have droney. Right, there we go. It's picked me up. Is it gonna say go? Oh, maybe you got to press the, that would be nice for it to say go, but maybe if you press the arrow button up there, yeah, because it needs more settings, so I think go is not as simple as that. So you can kind of speed it up. You can say, right, I want it to go up, I don't know, well, you don't want to go too far, 80 meters. Auto return maybe. Go. 3, 2, 1, and it should go. And one thing I really like about this actually, compared to the DJI drones, is that you, yeah, one of the things that I really like is that you don't have to stop the recording. You don't have to say, oh, stop actually recording the whole video. It'll just do the smart feature within the actual video that you're recording. I quite like that. I think the DJI ones, that's a bit of a downside in a way, because it makes you stop the recording and then you basically can't, you know, you can't basically, you know, you've got to patch together those videos later on in post. So I think it's nice to have it as one video really. But you know, some people probably like you know, the other way. So I don't know. But yeah, it's coming back now. Pretty happy with this so far. I mean, I don't think it's worked out who I am again. It hasn't like moved its box back. But to be honest, with the droney, I don't think that would matter too much. Yeah, so it's done that droney mission. So that was a disappointment with the Xeno 1, that it didn't have droney, which I just think that's kind of 101, isn't it? You know, that's the feature, right? So we're going to take it up and see if we can get some filming. Just to show you the filming quality of the camera. But yeah, basically it's recording in full. Oh no, it's not recording actually. That's interesting. So it came out recording. I'm not sure when it did, but we'll turn the recording back on. So that's a watch out. Maybe it does do a separate video for the droney. Maybe it stops recording and starts recording again, and when it comes back it cancels. So yeah, maybe not quite what I thought there. Right, so we're going to pick up the camera. It's quite a foggy day, as you can see. We've got it in cloudy white, in cloudy balance. You know, so the setting for the camera is cloudy. So we're just going to give it a fly around. You get a decent battery with this as well. Again, I sort of feel like it was better battery life than what we got on the Xeno 2 Plus and the Xeno Pro Plus. You know, just what the way it felt. It just felt a lot more. Yeah, I mean, it's not the best day for filming, as you can see, but it handled its smart tracking pretty well. I mean, I'm pretty happy with that. But yeah, we're just going to try and, you know, give it a bit of a fly around, so don't just do some smart tracking, but you get to see the camera. The other thing is the tilted horizon. I mean, if Fimi can sort out the tilted horizon, I think a lot of people will be happy. I'm sure I saw a tilted horizon on the Mavic Pro though, so, and I get the feeling they've kind of based this drone on a Mavic Pro, so, you know, they've kind of probably took apart the Mavic Pro and gone, how can we, you know, get something like that? And that's kind of what the app to me feels a bit like the DJI Go app. And everything, you know, just certain like menu options look identical, and yeah, especially in the video settings. The only thing you don't think you get on this compared to the Mavic Pro is tap to focus, so you can't, like, you know, manually focus the drone. But yeah, so it does feel like on the Mavic Pro you've got kind of a proper camera in there. But yeah, I mean, good battery life. The battery life is still going well. You know, you've got lots of intelligent flight features. You've got the waypoints mode in here. So, you know, these are things to consider when you're thinking about a drone, because if you know, these are features that you know, you pay a lot more money for on like DJI drones, and the Fimi's kind of got them and is doing a good job with them. So and the battery life is really good. We're on the first battery. We've done a bit of playing around in the park, and it's not, it's a cold day as well. My hands are sort of partially frozen, so the battery's probably going to be struggling a bit more today, but it's definitely doing a good job here, and plenty of battery life. That was one of the things with the Xeno 1. I know the Xeno 1's a lot cheaper, but the Xeno 1 was just, the battery life was, you put it up, you did, maybe a couple of things, and it's got, you've run out. You can get bigger batteries for them, I believe, like slightly bigger. But if you need battery life and you want a really cheap drone, you're probably going to have to look at Xeno Pro Plus. But for me, the Fimi has a sort of non-DJI drone, a non-DJI sort of more budget-friendly drone. I don't think you can go wrong, and as time goes on and the more drones I try that are non-DJI, the more that I keep feeling that the Fimi is really worth its money. Maybe if you're an absolute beginner, you prefer a Mini 2 because you might feel safer flying around something lighter like that. This is obviously a heavier drone. You need to get licensed on it. For like in the UK here, you have to have an operator ID, which costs £9, and you also have to pass like a kind of drone test. It's not a majorly hard drone test, but certainly you need to pass a test. But yeah, I mean this drone is going really well. It's filming fine. Just watch out that it stopped recording after the droney, so maybe it does do a separate video. So good job I spotted that. Normally I won't, and I probably would just keep flying around thinking I'm filming. But yeah, just a really good drone, getting really good footage on what is a pretty dismal day. But looking on the screen, it looks pretty good. I don't know, I just think it's really good. And it's got intelligent landing, so when the battery does sort of get a bit low, we can bring it back and we can sort of show the landing. Hopefully my battery idea won't go wrong. I might try and move the trouble is, if I move the batteries off, we will get a situation where it won't, the propellers might basically blow the pad away. But yeah, really looking good, flying around really well, getting quite good range, I would say, as well, which is pretty amazing. I might drop the camera down slightly, see if that gives you slightly better footage, because sometimes you can have the, that's the only watch out on the Fimi, but I think I've seen it on other drones. If you have the gimbal too high, you might see reflections off the propeller, a bit of sort of like, banding, I think it is on the video. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, basically just try and keep the camera, lower. Not necessarily, you want to see a bit of the sky, but you don't want it to be too low. It's now, yeah, we're not getting, any breakup in the FPV. It's just, the Xeno 2, we had breakup in the FPV, or Xeno 2 Plus, sorry, we had breakup in FPV. Well, I'm gonna send it home now, basically. Right, here we go. Where am I? Tap that. Oh no, hit the wrong button. Right, ready to return. I'm going to send it back. We're at 51% battery. It's a cold day. I don't want to push the battery too hard. But basically, yeah, it's a very capable drone. We'll have to see if it goes on its landing pad. I've got to be ready to move those batteries out of the way. The trouble is the landing gear on this drone, it could hit one of those. So let's see how we get on. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll make sure that nothing bad happens. But yeah, the range was good then. We flew over the river there, had a good look around, and the motion tracking stuff all seemed to work and do exactly what it's supposed to do. So although it's labeled as beta, and although in previous reviews where I've looked at it, it just, I kind of felt it was a bit buggy, but actually really worked well today. Really happy with it. I think it's a good feature. I think I've not used the Air one for a little while. I think the Air 2 one would probably be a bit better overall, but of course you're paying a lot more money for the Air 2. You're getting a 1/2-inch sensor as well on that. You're getting 60 frames a second in your video, so you can do slow-mo if you really want, and it'll be a little bit smoother. But you're paying a lot more money for that. So, you know, that's the trade-offs really. This Fimi, for the money you're paying, is just phenomenal value. I think it's, you know, it's really good value. And the other drones that I've tested, like the Xeno 1, the Xeno 2, the Xeno Pro Plus, they've just made me really kind of appreciate how good this drone is. You know, there's lots of things about it, like the UI on the app just feels like polished and decent, you know, even compared with DJI. Yeah, it's coming down now. Hopefully it'll find its pad. It's saying it's detected it. I won't drop the camera because it should have landing sensors underneath to be able to do it without, don't know, it's quite off. It's over there compared to there. Again, you know, these are sort of features that, to be honest, even on the air, you know, even on other drones, they don't quite get them right. It's definitely not got the landing pad. Should we move it across and give it a bit of a hand? See if it can, see if this helps it out a bit. Well, if it's detect, so if I drop the camera down, you can then see where the landing pad is. The landing pad's there. It shouldn't be using its main camera to find the landing pad. So just gonna back it off a little bit. Yeah, it's saying it'll change its route, but I want it to change its route. Hopefully, will it land now? I don't know. Is it trying to land? I don't know if it is. We've got plenty of battery, so we can watch it do it. But yeah, I think the feeling. It's a Hubsan app to me. Didn't feel 100% polished. There's two different apps as well, like a Hubsan 1, a Hubsan 2. I know there's two different ones for different Fimis. You know what? Whoa! Now that was lucky. Basically, it just about missed its own battery and the Mavic Pro battery and landed perfectly in the middle. So I would say that's really good. It turns off the recording also for you. It's looking a little bit, I think it's because it's really looking, if I bring the camera up again, just want to make sure that that's just, yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with the camera. It's just looking right at the H. But yeah, bang on in the middle there. I know it didn't quite get it at first. It's a foggy day, so maybe that didn't help. But yeah, it's a much more polished app. It's a much more thought out controller. I mean, you know, this is a really thought out controller. Yes, you're not getting the telemetry that you might get on a Mavic Pro or on a Xeno 2 Plus, but you do see that on the app. So do you need that telemetry in an LCD? But you're getting, you can pull, you know, this can fit decent sized phones. You know, the downside of the Mavic, the older Mavics, where the controller was underneath and the edges of the controller would kind of go over the buttons a little bit, so it's difficult to get your fingers in and press them. They've kind of solved that with the new Air 2 controller, which they're using on the Mini 2, which does solve that problem and makes it more akin to this. But this is nice. It's, you know, weight distribution wise, having the phone in the middle, having nice premium controller sticks. It just feels it feels a lot more premium than the Hubsan equivalents. They feel a lot more toy-like and cheaper, a bit like they started with a toy drone and was like, well, we can just, you know, improve it a little bit here, there and everywhere to try and make it into something that could rival a DJI drone. This feels more like Xiaomi were like, right, we've got to try and rival a DJI drone, let's work out what we have to do. And they've started, you know, in every point of it, they've started in the right way. They've gone, right, we need a premium controller. We need a premium battery, which, you know, feels very similar to the Mavic Pro battery that's sat beside it. You know, it looks very similar. The power bricks that you get with it are decent and charge, you know, they look like the Mavic Air style. You know, they're white instead of black, but they're the kind of power brick ones which feel more solid. It's got a figure of 8 lead from it, so very easy to change between countries. When we got our Xeno 2 Plus through, not Xeno 2 Plus, sorry, that was actually a UK plug, but both the Xeno 1 and the Xeno Pro Plus that we got one had a US plug on it, so we needed an adapter. One had a EU plug on it, so we needed an adapter. It's little things, it's just not been thought through 100%. Also, they hum when they charge, whereas this one doesn't. It just feels a little bit more of a solid premium drone, and I think there's a few areas they could improve on. They could probably make the camera balance better by having two sides supported rather than one, but of course that's the same as the Mavic Pro. I expect the Mavic Pro 2 has got it on both sides now. That makes an improvement. They could make that improvement. They could come with a decent gimbal protector out of the box. I think that would be an improvement. Apart from that, you know, I think it's a pretty good drone, and it gets good flight time. It's high quality app. I think there's, you know, there's a few little features that they can sort out, and then I think they'll have a really good drone that can rival their Mavics. And basically, it's a good start. So anyway, I hope you got some use out of that. I hope we put to bed the sort of like, you know, whether or not the motion tracking features work really well. They do. We're happy with them now that we walk around here. And I'm happy now because I thought they weren't that good. But hopefully you got some use out of that. Hopefully that was useful for you. If it was, please click like. If you could, please subscribe to the videos if you want to see more like these. And please share to your friends and family and pets. And thanks very much for watching. We'll see you again in the next video. Thanks very much.